Is MOTS-c safe? This is a question that I get asked a lot because MOTS-c or MOTS-c is not something that is FDA approved. There's actually a lot of data around what it does in the body and how this MOTS-c can turn on different genes and activate AMPK pathways. But really, when you look at the safety profile, there's so much more work that needs to be done for us to clearly establish the safety and efficacy of MOTS-c. But in this video, I'll deconstruct actually some of the studies that have been done with a very similar molecule to MOTS-c and how there's manufacturers and the pharmaceutical companies who are looking to use this as a potential exercise medic, something that helps stabilize blood sugar, turns on muscle growth, allows the body to recover, and stabilizes the cardiorespiratory system. But if you ever have wondered, is this peptide for me, and are my mitochondria, do they need an upgrade and enhancement? Well, I'll share with you some of the interesting research and what can happen. I'll also talk to you about the risks. So like any of these other videos, this is not medical advice. This is me sharing information that I've learned because I have been somebody obsessed with peptides for over the last decade, really wanting to know how they can help up-level my physical fitness, my cognitive performance, my recovery, and my longevity. I want to be around for a long time. I've got an amazing wife. I've got 3 super healthy, active adult kids now. And I want to be around to see it all. I have a phenomenal family, just like you do. And so as I go through this, just remember, this is not me saying, hey, go get MOTS-c and try it out yourself. This is me sharing some caution around it. And anytime you want to use this peptide or anything else, make sure you work directly with your doctor. Or if you don't have a doctor trained in peptides, just go to agelessfuture.com, set up an introductory call with my health extension specialist, and talk to my team. I've got a world-class team of medical providers who can determine what peptides your body may do best with. All right, so what are the risks? Well, here's what's interesting. Here's a study. Now, while MOTS-c is so fascinating, or MOTS-c, the interesting thing about this is we don't have a lot of human data, but there is a company back in 2020 who started looking at analogs of MOTS-c. And they found that if they created this synthetic version of MOTS-c called CB4211, they actually basically mimicked MOTS-c, and then they took healthy volunteers, and this was in their phase 1A and B trials. It happened in the United States. There's roughly 85 participants across different cohorts, and what they were looking at, is it safe in healthy volunteers? And so it was randomized, it was double blinded, it was placebo controlled. They looked at everything from liver markers to kidney markers, all the biometrics before and after. And here's what they uncovered. They found CB4211 was well tolerated, there's no adverse events. It was dose proportional, pharmacokinetics, and only mild injection site reactions, so some redness. Not only did they find that it was seemed to have a very safe profile for the MOTS-c, like peptides, despite lacking complete phase 2 and 3 clinical trials. Some of the things that they noticed in the study, they found that of these participants, when looking at their markers like the ALT and the SAT, looking at the liver enzymes, those were improved. They also found that there was lowering of inflammatory molecules. Now, this study was not done for very long, but through the study they did learn that there was a massive improvement in the core metabolic functions and markers. So MOTS-c, well, first of all, what is it? So as you look at MOTS-c, now once again, MOTS-c, the full name is mitochondrial open reading frame of the 12S RNA type C. It's a 16 amino acid complex. And the reason why it's so popular and why I think it may actually prove to be something in the future that we're using to enhance endurance, VO2 max, where we're really trying to generate energy in the body and get ahead of this thing called aging. But the MOTS-c is very fascinating because there's three things that you want to consider. Number one is, how safe is it really? Now, we have some very, very small cohorts of studies, but then we have millions of people who've been using it. So in the peptide circles that I run in, here's some of the common side effects of MOTS-c. If you're somebody who has mold exposure, or you have pretty severe histamine responses to anything in the environment, you tend to have more allergies, MOTS-c can trip up the immune system, and you're very likely to have more of like an anaphylaxis reaction. So be careful. Make sure that you're using this in the morning if it does get approved. But the other thing that has been noted is it does seem to have more reaction site tenderness, where your immune system, you do create this little influx of histamines. I've had several pharmacists in these communities where they say, well, injecting KPV shortly thereafter can downregulate some of that inflammation. Worth noting, MOTS-c, some of the concerns, cancer-related concerns. When you look upstream, like the importance of MOTS-c in the body is, MOTS-c is turned on when you have heat shock protein activation. So in one group, they had individuals in the study get on a recumbent or a stationary bike, and they had them pedal for 20 minutes. And they measured their free circulating MOTS-c levels before they exercised and after. And after they exercised, the MOTS-c increased by 400 to 500%, and it stayed at that elevated level for 5 to 6 hours. So they thought, okay, there's something here, but it also turns on AMPK, so it's like a secondary energy system. MOTS-c is also more expressed in the Japanese population, who do seem to have some longevity in their genes. But there's a theoretical cancer promotion risk that's never actually been proven in the animal models, because one thing MOTS-c can do is it can change some of the hormone profiles. So usually for the better, because it's downregulating some of the inflammatory responses in the body. But because it is a myostatin inhibitor, meaning you get more expression of follistatin for muscle building, muscle growth, because a lot of the MOTS-c is stored right in those satellite cells in your muscles, that's where you just want to be careful. And once again, this is very new as far as the research goes. There's a lot more that we can dive into as far as the benefits and the potential risks of MOTS-c, but wondering if it's safe. Here's some consumer and clinical reports. A certain amount of people noticed they had nausea when they took it. Some had upset digestive systems. Headaches were noted. Transient fatigue, energy swings. People who took it at night didn't sleep as well. People who took it in the morning, they noticed better energy levels. Once again, it's not FDA approved, but MOTS-c, if you can find a prescribing physician, a licensed compounding pharmacy who is able to make this compound. Beautiful thing is many of these peptides, they do land in what's the generally recognized as safe category. Many of these peptides are going from a category 2, where the FDA has serious, significant safety concerns, and they will be elevated to category 1. I don't know if MOTS-c is going to fall in that category or not. I have been told it is going to move back up to the category 1, which it had been prior to December of 24. But the real thing you want to look at is it safe? Well, get your blood work done. That's step 1. Make sure that you're working with a team of clinicians who understands peptides. They have the ability to prescribe these peptides through a licensed 503A compounding pharmacy. I would steer clear of some of these research use only peptides, not for human consumption, based on the fact that you don't know what you're getting. And because MOTS-c is such a new peptide, it might be something where you want to enter with an abundance of caution. From what we've seen in our clinical results, people notice better energy, better endurance. This is one of the peptides I've used to get my VO2 max into the elite levels, which I try to maintain. Not always easy, but it's also one that with the GLP-1s, some people get so fatigued, and so if you have tirzepatide and then you can include MOTS-c, a couple times a week, that's where you can really turn on the engines and notice a massive improvement. Working on that electron transport chain using methylene blue, NAD, These all help expand the benefits. But once again, from a safety profile, you want to enter with caution. If your eosinophils are high, if you have allergies, this is one you probably want to steer clear from. Always work with a licensed physician, work with your doctor directly, making sure you're getting it from the right source if it's something that you and your provider decide to move forward on. If you're craving the real breakdown on MOTS-c protocols and why weight loss conversions may miss the terrain, the next video flips the script. So click on the link below. I'll see you there.